It's double time today. I'm back once again with another video. You know, my son woke up. I rolled out that other video. I'm actually editing it right now. This whole little game right here, not game, it's not a game, but this whole YouTube thing, oh my God, this is a task. I'm like learning how to edit and do all that stuff. Jesus Christ. As you see, my son woke up. He's back right here. Oops. He's in this puppy right here. I'm watching him. He's asleep. I would have him in this bassinet, but he fell asleep there, so I'm going to leave him there. Because, you know, this nap time could be, it can go either way. It could be 20 minutes. It could be an hour. Who knows? So, depending on how he feel, right? Anyway, so let's get this thing cracking. Let's talk about it. I wanted to come back and talk about my doula experience. Now, you guys, my doula experience was, I don't know. It was like, I don't know. Okay, my doula experience was, it was not what I expected. Let's start there. Number one. Okay, so let's start with first. I started looking into, you know, getting a doula, like in my about 2-3 months before I actually conceived, right? Or before I delivered, basically. So I found Healthy Mama Doula, right? So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with this company, right? I don't know any better. I don't know really anything about doula ship or whatever. I don't know anything about it. I just know that with having a midwife, I know that they recommend it. You know, shout out to Tiffany and Jordan at Peer Birth. Hey, that's my spot. But yeah, they recommend it. But I came with a doula already, and you know, I just felt like having a midwife, I have to have a doula. Like, it's like part of the process, basically. So, boom. So, the first doula I had, I felt like she was all right from the beginning. But everybody I felt like was all right in the beginning until it wasn't. Okay, so her first visit coming to my house. Well, when I dealt with healthy mama, basically doula, like, you got to pick from who you wanted. So I picked who I wanted. I cannot remember the girl's name for the life of me. I just don't remember her. She was like, she wasn't, I don't know. I guess she wasn't. You'll figure out at the end why I probably don't remember her name. But anyway, so I choose her. So she comes to my house for the first time. Mind you, this is during COVID. She comes in December, right? So she comes to do her like educational thing with me, right? So when she does come to my house for the first visit, me personally, I didn't trip. Like, I was just like, oh, like, I didn't tell her like about, I didn't take COVID precautions. But the next visit, I was like, no, I need to take COVID precautions. You know, she doesn't live in my home. She's a doula. You know, she's outside moving around. I don't know how much, but, you know, she's moving around, right? So I'm going to take COVID precautions. So the first day, it was okay. But I kind of got like a weird kind of vibe from her because she started talking about vaccinations, right? We're not talking about COVID vaccination. We're talking about vaccinations for the children, right? So she gets on vaccination. She's like, oh, yeah, I don't recommend vaccinations. So I'm just like, what? You know, that's not my thing. But the thing is, nobody asked you about your thing. That's strike number one. This is not about you and how you feel. You know, it wasn't about her, and she's not a doctor. So therefore, she shouldn't even be giving medical advice. Number one. Number two, I didn't ask her. Number three, she's just dead wrong. But I let that slide. I was like, okay, boom, I'm gonna let that go. Her next time coming over here, which was next following week, But in between that week, she texted me to say, how am I doing, right? So I texted her back. I said, oh, I'm vetting out pediatricians right now. She says, oh, vaccination schedule. I said, huh? What? She was like, well, the doctor visits start turning into vaccinations visits. They have you on a round vaccination schedule. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, hold on, no, this girl didn't. I already gave her a pass already. Like, and you over here telling me, talk about vaccinations again, trying to press upon me your thoughts and feelings, how you do with your kids. Like, I don't play that. Don't overstep your bounds. One thing about me is stay in your lane. Do not come in my lane trying to tell me what to do. Because if I need to know something, I have no problem with asking or researching to find it out. But do not come trying to just, and it just felt evasive and abrasive, and it just felt like, it just felt wrong. So I said, I said, listen. Basically, I said, I said, I got this, as far as vaccination is concerned, I got this. And I'll do, when I get to those points, I'll do what I see fit right then and there for me, for my child. Thank you. So when she was getting ready to come over, I was like, okay, I hit her again when it was time for her to actually come over to do her educational courses. I text her and I said, hey, make sure you bring your mask inside. She texts me back. She says, oh, why did you come in contact with somebody who has COVID? Because if you did, then I can, I'll do like a Zoom or whatever. I said, no, I did not come in contact with anybody with COVID. I said, but COVID, I'm taking COVID precautions, so I need you to wear your mask in here. So then she goes into this whole long, drawn out paragraph, right? She texted me. It's a whole long thing. Once I seen it, I was like, what? See, it should be like, oh, okay, yeah, cool, yeah, I got you. No, it was like all this talking about, I can't wear a mask. When I put on a mask, my nose, what did she say? Not bleeds, runs profusely, snot's just coming out, and the mask is drenching, and I'm like, what? Girl, what? So I'm like, look, you have to wear a mask, period.com. And so she was like, well, what about a shield? I said, the shield is fine for me because you can't spit on me, right? Because we're eye level, so therefore she can't spit on me. You know what I'm saying? But I said, but when my son get here, you're going to have to wear a real mask because he's underneath you. And if you're talking and all this, your speaker go on to him. She's like, oh, well, the mask thing, da-da-da-da. So I'm like, oh, okay. So I ended there. I was like, I'm going to get at her when she get here. So when she comes, as soon as she get here, before she come in the door, I have my temperatures. I have a temperature, I take the temp. I also have like booties, like, because some people like to, like, we don't wear shoes in our house. Like when we come in, we take our shoes off at the door, basically. Or we don't walk around, and we'll walk to our room, walk to the room and then take our shoes off, basically, So anyway, I have booties, like disposable booties to give to her and things like that. So I said, hey, listen, I said, I'm gonna need you to, I said, so are you not gonna be able to wear a mask or whatever? She's like, no. I said, oh, okay, well, I just want to let you know and be upfront with you that I'm gonna have to request somebody else if you're not gonna wear a mask. Because how are you delivering, how are you, like, you work in a birth center too? How are you doing that and getting away with not wearing a mask? Like, it's COVID outside. Like, a mask should be a regular thing at this moment, right? Not at this moment, but then. This is December 2020. So she was like, oh, I just lied, I put it down, this and that or whatever. I said, well, at my birth center, you have to wear a mask or whatever, and I'm gonna require you to wear a mask if you're gonna be around my son. If not, then I'm gonna have to change you out. She's like, oh yeah, cool, that's fine with me. You could do that with the whoop. So boom, we went through with the educational process. I forgot what she was teaching. So we went through with that, and then after that, she she left or whatever. She calls the girl Cordelia or whatever, and tells her whatever she needs to tell her. Mind you, I really should be speaking up that honestly, but I let it go. I really should have been speaking up that she was like giving me professional advice, which she should not. Period. The midwife doesn't even do that because you're not a professional. You're not a doctor or a nurse. You can't be giving out medical advice unsolicited, unwarranted, under any circumstances because you're not a freaking doctor. That's that. But I let it slide. So I tell her I need, like, she's already, she's like, oh yeah, she hits me up first, Cordelia, the coordinator. She's like, oh yeah, so yeah, you know what, it's understandable, COVID, all that. Okay, so we'll send you another one, just for your birth. She doesn't do postpartum, but she could do, your birth, right? I said, okay, cool, send another one. So, this time I didn't get to pick, it was like whoever was available. So, basically, they chose this girl, Allie. Now, Allie was okay, like, again, in the beginning. And then the first visit was fine. Me and my husband, we were up. We were feeling well. Everything was cool. We had our first educational visit, like, on Zoom, right? The second week, I wasn't feeling well at all. No COVID or nothing like that, but I'm pregnant, right? I'm just not feeling good. So, by this time it's January. So, and I was due in February. So, my husband wasn't feeling well either. So he was under the weather. So we're in the Zoom meeting and, we're not as uppity and have as much energy like regularly because we not feeling good. This woman on the other end, she's like, oh, like, I guess she's noted that the energy is not as high. We're not, like, making her laugh. But the thing, so she's like, I don't think you guys are going to make it through the rest of the Zoom meeting. But it's just like, why are we not going to make it? We here. I didn't say nothing, but I'm observing this. So I'm observing everything that's going on, right? So I'm thinking to myself, like, why not, bitch? Like, is it because we not on the up and up? Because she's making comments about this. She's like, oh, you guys are really not, you guys are not as vibrant as you were last week. Well, we don't feel well, girl. Shit. So, she's like, so she's like, you guys are not going to make it. So I'm just thinking to myself, like, hold on, like, girl, are you doing the wrong thing too now? Because if I don't feel well, if we don't feel well, we're not here to entertain you. Do I look like entertainment to you? We're not here for that, sweetheart. Like, but this is what she's giving me. It's like, oh, we're not giving her the same energy. We're not doing this from last week or whatever, but we're not here to do what we did for last week. Like, we're not here for that. We're here for an educational purpose, and you here to give it. So get an education out and be gone and be done with it. You from start to finish. Honey, I work with clients. I was working with clients with drug addictions. Do you think I run into them and they feeling good all the time? Absolutely not. Do you think that's going to stop me from doing my job? Absolutely not. No, I still have to keep going, period. So professionalism is what it's called. It doesn't matter about, you make sure you keep a cool temperament. As if you're doing a job, you make sure that your temperament is good, and that you just get through as much as possible. But you can't bank your how well you do your job. You cannot depend on others' moods to bounce off of it to determine how well you will do your job that day, because you don't know what people are going through or whatever they have going on. So your professionalism and you getting your job done should be based upon you knowing what you're doing and just get into the business of it, and you keeping and maintaining your temperament and maintaining yourself at a high level and get through the job and be done with it. I didn't like that with her already. So I was like, you know what? I don't know about this trick. But I was like, okay, but I'm going to keep, I'm going to keep going. So I induced my labor. So fast forward 41 weeks and 1 day. fast forward, this is just like a couple of weeks from this meeting with her. I'm worried about if I'm going to be able to be in the birth center doing my birth because it's cutting close. I'm getting at 41 weeks. I'm cutting close to 42. At 42, well, 41 and 6, they cut it off, right? So I'm talking to her. She's delivering support. This girl, Allie, right? Well, then it got to the point I went to my midwife and I talked about, what can I do to induce my labor? And because I was really stressed out because I just really thought that maybe I just wouldn't, I didn't know if I was gonna, if I was gonna be able to have my baby there or not. Really, she was stressing me seriously, because he stayed until the last minute, and if I hadn't induced my labor, who knows? I probably would have had to go to the hospital, because he needed that boost. Anyway, my midwife says take some castor oil. I said okay, cool. So I went and got my hair done, baby, because like I said, individualism, it starts right then and there. Baby, I'm gonna get my hair whipped. I'm not gonna look like any kind of thing, like my son is coming and baby, I'm all big and pregnant. Like, nah, I'm gonna get let me get my hair done and then I'm gonna get in there and I'm gonna take this castor oil and see what it do. So I did. I got my hair done, and then that night, once I came home that evening, I alerted my this was the next day. I talked with my midwife the Wednesday. Friday day I got my hair done. Friday evening is when I took the castor oil. I drank the castor oil. So boom, I let the midwife know, and she says, I let Allie know, which is the doula. I said, hey, I'm taking this castor oil to try to see what's up. She's like, oh, okay. So mine was like 5 o'clock p.m. So she thought, oh, okay. So right there, I'm putting her on alert. So why did I took it, so about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, I started like using the toilet. I'm not going to go into that long drawn out story. But anyway, I let her, and that story is already, my birth story is up. So take a look at that for that. So back to her, I basically let her know, I put her on alert that I was, that I was taking the castor oil, so I could be ready, So around 12 o'clock is when my water broke, actually, and I texted her between like 12 and 1, like, hey, I sent her like a picture of like the pad, the under pad. The water had broke. I caught it, and I sent her a picture like, hey, my water broke. It's on. I never heard nothing from her. Now, mind you, I went and searched out for another doula for postpartum, right? So I'd already found her, and she was with a whole nother company, because I didn't want to deal with that company no more, because she was kind of like this girl, this last one, too. So I never heard nothing from her. My postpartum doula was on the line with me. She was like, okay, she was just giving me support by phone, blah, blah, blah. If she would have came too, if I asked her to come. But she was up with me like, yeah, okay, da-da-da, right? Everything like giving me support that this woman should have been giving me. So basically, she never hit me back. This chick didn't hit me back until 7 o'clock in the morning, like 7:04 to be exact. She was like, from my text that I hit her at about between 12 a.m. and 1. She, well, it looks like you're getting things going. I texted her back, mind you, I was leaving out of the birth center with my child. We had already did the whole thing. So you'd have missed your whole job, lady. So I hit her back. I said, girl, we are leaving from the birth center. It's done. Like, I just had my baby. This chick she had like the audacity. She was like, oh, I can't wait to hear that story. She didn't offer me no apology. She didn't offer me nothing. You just missed your whole job. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to tell the owner. So I'll call the owner or whatever, but someone's like, don't call the owner. At first, I didn't do it right away. So, but I'm like, no, she needs to know because now this girl missed her whole job. That was your only one job was to be support for me during the delivery, and you were not, and you went to sleep or whatever. But the thing was, I put you on alert earlier that you should have been on alert. Period. Like, and I shouldn't have to tell you people. Like, I shouldn't have to tell this bitch how to do her job. Period. Like, because it's upsetting me now that I'm thinking about it. Talk about it right now. So I called the owner to let her know, like, because you got to pull these girls together. You got to get them together because this is not okay the way they getting down. Period. But I speak to her about Allie first, and then I was going to talk to her about the other chick, right? About her giving unsolicited medical advice, basically. So I'm talking to her about Allie, and so I'm telling her what happened. She said, "Oh, well, when you hit her at 1 o'clock, did you tell her? Did you tell her that you needed her?" I said, "What do you mean? Did I tell her that I needed her?" She was like, "Well, did you hit her and say I need you right now? Like when you?" I said, "I hit her and told her my water is breaking, and I hit her earlier and told her also that I was doing the castor oil. That was putting her on alert." She's like, "Yeah, but you didn't. Did you say you need?" I said, "Hold on." So I didn't know it was a specific script I was supposed to say. I didn't know that. I didn't know that it was key words that I was supposed to say. I said, "You know what? Because you upsetting me now." I said, "And I don't have time for that. I have a baby and I need to be on high energy." And something told me not to call. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hang up with you because I ain't got time. Click, I hung up. Because the whole thing was, she was like just being in, what's that called? Just like taking up for her, like basically, like my needs didn't matter. I hung up on her. She kept calling me and emailing me or whatever. "Is there anything else you need?" No, bitch. There's nothing else I want. You need to check that girl. Period. Because you have one job and you failed at it. Is that how you treat people? And I was just very hurt and disappointed. And now it's making me angry talking about it. I was angry, like I got upset with it then. But then in that moment, I was more hurt and angry because, you were supposed to be there for support and you missed you missed it. And, I was just foul. So that was Healthy Mama. I would not recommend them, but to each his own. But that's my situation with them. Now fast forward to the postpartum doula. Now this girl, she's a young girl. She actually, she goes to, she's graduating from Cal State Dominguez. She just graduated, right? She just graduated, but she's starting her doulaship. Now this chick, she started coming into my home. Everything was fine. Now I invited her to come during the time where I had the physiology and anatomy class, which was a very rigorous course. I've mentioned it on several different videos. I invited her to come during those classes so that I can pay attention while class is going, right? So basically she comes for Tuesday and Thursday for 3 hours from 10 to 1. So the first 3 weeks everything was fine. Now the first time I didn't realize that I didn't want my son's diaper being changed, but the first time she went to go, when she was in my house, I'll be in my living room. She'll be in my living room and I'm in my room, right? But my son's nursery is in the back, right, in the room. So she comes walking to change his diaper, and this is like the first time or whatever. So I told her, like, hey, I went in there and I just like stood there with her and I said, "You know what? I don't want you changing his pamper or whatever. When it's time to change the pamper, just let me know because I'll change his pamper." So she said, "Oh no, that's fine. Okay, yeah, if that's what you want, then that's fine." I said, "Okay, good." 3 weeks passed. Maybe 3 weeks passed. The next 3 weeks, this girl, her car broke down. So she misses 6 appointments. Now I let her slide and I gave her support because I felt like, let me support her in this. Just being super, super nice. Okay. So I'm just like, let me support her or whatever. And so like, I have like sent her money. I Zelled her money, just in case she needed, because she was like, "I'm waiting on my stimulus check or whatever." And I'm just like, "Your stimulus check, girl, your stimulus check might not never come. Like, who gets that shit?" Shit. Not me. Like, dang. But anyway, so I'm like, so I Zelled her money or whatever, and then her stimulus check ended up coming. But mind you, she missed 6 appointments, so she missed